Hey everyone, Dr. Frunkey here with a review and final diagnosis on the Gareth Bull Knives Shamwari. For those of you that have been following my channel for a while, you may recall when I unboxed this 3.25-inch carbon fiber version of the Shamwari a few months ago. Since then, I have been carrying this very routinely. It has fallen into my sort of gentleman's carry role, and I have really enjoyed it. I liked it so much that I actually ended up buying, very luckily, a second Shamwari. This is a 3.5-inch version, a little bit larger with the textured titanium scales. I will say I was extremely lucky to get either or both of these knives because of the way that Gareth sells his knives. He offers them up in drops that he has on Instagram. He will announce early one morning that he's going to be selling a knife, and then he puts it on the Instagram, and then if you can comment fast enough, you get the knife. And they usually sell out somewhere between 0.1 and 0.2 billionths of a second. They really are gone immediately. As soon as you can even write the word N, 40 other people have already written that word. So I was very fortunate to have the finger speed and internet connectivity to get both of these in that fashion. I am not anybody special. I just happen to have an addiction bad enough that I kept hitting refresh enough. So that's how I scored both of these knives. I wanted to talk about my experience with them and give you a little bit of the details. So we can go ahead and get some quick stats on this, some quick vital signs. The small one here is rocking a 3.25-inch blade. It's about 7.6, 7.7 inches overall length. Handle's coming in about 4 1/4, and the grip area is right at 4 inches. This one is a bit bigger right here. It has a 3.5-inch blade, about 3.3 inches of cutting length. The overall length is coming in at about 8 1/4 inches with a 4.75-inch handle with 4.3 inches of grip area right there. So a little bit bigger knife, which actually suits me a little bit better, but it also is bigger in all other aspects. The actual blade stock and the handle stock is much thicker. So the blade stock on the small version comes in here at 117 thousandths, and the larger version here comes in at 157 thousandths, so much thicker. Also, the thickness on the scales were 120 thousandths on the larger version, and here on the smaller version, just on the scales themselves, it's 100 thousandths. So considerably thicker in almost all regards on this bigger one, and I've actually really enjoyed the beefed up nature of this. So we'll go ahead and talk about these knives anatomically. The blades are remarkably similar. Both are done in M390 steel with these very similar grinds. A beautiful high hollow grind drop point blade with this crowned spine that transitions into an amazing bevel right there, an amazing swedge, I should say. On the larger version, it's even a bit more exaggerated. It's so beautiful to look at. Oh, you just got a face reveal right there. Nicely finished in a hand-rubbed satin. It's mirror polished and then hand-rubbed, so it's just a beautiful finish. Very, very classy finish. This one has totally fallen into my gentleman's carry. Anytime I wear a suit, this is the knife that would go with it. Beautifully done blades. They're very sharp, both of them. I really enjoy the way that the larger one has been ground. It's a bit sharper and more aggressive, but both of them work very, very nicely, and they've held their edge. M390 is a spectacular steel. It is really the best of the best. Moving back, I can talk about the pivots. These are the things that really make these knives so spectacular. This is the true heart and soul of the Shamwari. The knife itself is beautiful. The ergonomics are good. This design is classic. The materials are excellent. But it's this pivot. It's this drop shut electromagnetic feeling that you get when you're opening and closing these knives. On the smaller version, the detent is very, very light, so it allows the knife to really come out of the handle very easily, either with the thumb or the forefinger deployment right there. But it also has a light enough detent that if you're just shaking it a little bit, it can open the knife. Of course, it's not going to do it well on camera, but there you go. You saw it right there. If I just give it a purposeful shake, I don't even have to shake it all that hard, and the knife does come out. Now, when it's positioned like this in the pocket, it's going to take a lot more effort. That blade is very light, and so it's hard to shake it out from that position. So it's just something to be aware of. But it allows you to really get that knife blade out very, very quickly and very smoothly no matter what position. The larger version has a stiffer detent, which requires the jimping to be a bit more aggressive. This is deeper, wider jimping, and it does bite into the thumb a little bit. I had to develop a callus to make that happen, but this one allows for a very snappy and aggressive deployment, and I really enjoy it. That bigger blade, that heavier blade just flies out of the handle, but somehow they've managed to keep the very smooth closure feeling. They do not have shaved detent balls, as far as I know. I'm looking at it. No, they're regular detent balls. They are ceramic. But the action maintains a very, very smooth thing. So if you get this in hand, that is what everyone goes bonkers about, is that opening and closing action. It's really unlike any other knife. I would say my Brown Knives Servo comes to be the most similar in overall action in terms of the absolute smoothness on closure. If the blade was bigger and heavier and 4 inches, it would feel exactly the same. So very, very well done there on the action. Moving back to the handles, they're rather simple titanium handles right here, a very classic handle shape. It allows you to open the knife very easily. It is obviously a front flipper deployment only. There is a little area that's cut out here, but the blade is so smooth, opening the knife like that is pretty much impossible. It's really just an ergonomic little cutout right there for when you're holding the knife. So it really is a front flipper deployment only. And that's something that you have to kind of get used to. If you're not a fan of front flippers, then you're not going to like this knife because there are no other opening alternatives. But I've learned to really enjoy it. To be honest, it keeps it very subtle. It allows the design of the knife to be very simple, but very, very beautiful. And it doesn't have any protruding elements back here. It doesn't have anything marking up the blade. When it's open, it keeps all the lines very, very clean, and it just looks quite nice. And once you get used to the overall opening and closing mechanism, it really does go well. It's harder for me to open this knife with the index finger. I can do it, but I'm not quite as good. Moving back, we were talking about the handles a little bit there. The two different versions here. This one has milled titanium textured scales. This one has shadow boxed carbon fiber scales on titanium liners. So a little bit different. He offers them up in different configurations. Normally he does them with just these titanium scales. Very skinny knife overall, and very lightweight. With in this particular configuration, this one is coming in at 3.45 ounces. The big brother here is coming in at 4.4 ounces. So pretty reasonable overall weights for both of these. Very lightweight on the smaller version right here. So the handles are quite comfortable in hand in both instances. This textured one is very much fun to touch and to feel, although it does cause a little bit of pocket munching underneath the clip right there. That is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. Speaking of the clip, these are really nicely done hybrid clips right here. That's what he's calling them. They are milled, but they are also basically a spring clip. And so you get the benefit of both. It is a beautiful thing that also functions perfectly. This is a little bit of a proud ramp right here. So if you're really getting into some hard cutting, you might be able to feel that a little bit in the hand. But this thing will never really be used for that kind of heavy duty cutting. So let's just be real here. The clip functions beautifully, and it's really just very nice. This one comes with a zirconium screw, just as a design accent right there. This one has a smooth pivot on the front. I'm going to be getting a zirconium pivot collar soon here from Gareth, because I thought that this bigger one looked a little bit plain on the front. Both of these come with a single standoff, otherwise open construction. The big guy has a zirconium standoff. The little one has a titanium standoff. Both of these knives are beautifully centered, and they're very easy to take apart. I've taken both of these knives down, and they are beautiful on the inside. So what is my the final diagnosis after owning both of these knives for a number of months? I'm going to call this EDC perfection. This knife is spectacular. It is comfortable in the hand, it's beautifully made, it's engineered perfectly, it's designed perfectly, it's executed perfectly. The quality, the fit, the finish, the action, the materials, every single bit of this knife has details, from the crown spine to the textured handles to the pocket clip to the material selection. It is absolutely ideal. It is a beautiful thing, and this fulfills every need that I have in an EDC knife. To be able to basically cut anything at any given time. I really don't need any tactical purposes. This is the ideal everyday carry gentleman's knife. and it's well worth the 4-second sellout every time. Tell me what you guys think of the Shamwari down below. Click like and subscribe to my channel, and as always, guys, take care.